It's amazing to me that, and I know I have friends here who were at her home in Augusta, Kentucky, to understand that one of the great singers of the era, considered that by Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, those were all her contemporaries, and she was much younger than most of them. She was considered by all of them to be a fabulous singer and one of the very best. She went through some really hard times. She, for one thing, was Irish Catholic. She had 5 kids in 5 years, and which is pretty tough on anybody. She was also present when Robert Kennedy was shot to death, and she had sang at his little get-together there that he was having when he was shot. She and her daughter, I think, Monsita, got under a table to hide and at his killing, his shooting and death. And so she went through some tough times, and she stopped singing for a very, very long time. She actually did sing, but she didn't sing out to the audience at all. She did a lot of Holiday Inns. People would go in the Holiday Inn and say, "Rosemary Clooney, what are you doing here?" And she would go, "Well, what are you doing here?" But she just kind of lost her career for a while and lost her way. In that day, probably when I was about 5 or 6, was the time when Hound Dog and Elvis Presley came along and bumped Frank Sinatra. Those were the people who were doing pop music then, and it was the people that we know now, like Tony Bennett, like Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. Those were the biggies of their day. And then when rock and roll came on the scene, when I was about 10, it was Beatlemania. Then all of a sudden, those people were just pretty much set aside and at work. And they did work, but not a lot. And she in particular didn't a lot. And what she did was very hard. She did that for many, many years. And then Bing Crosby, years later, was getting ready to do his 50th, I believe, anniversary for being in showbiz. And it was like a world tour. And he had never done anything like that, so he called Rosemary and said, "I want you to go with me." And Rosemary's like, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. He said, "Come on, I want you to go." And she just said no. And so Frank Sinatra called her on the phone and said, "Rosie, what are you doing? Why are you not doing this?" And she said, "Because I can't remember the words." And she said, I keep forgetting the words. And he said, "Take the sheet music. People want to hear you sing." So gratefully she did. In her Latin years, if you ever see her singing, she's almost always got a music stand in front of her and she's reading the words if she needs to. I don't think she really does it as much as she just needs the comfort and security of them being there. And she began singing again. Concord Records came along and said, "We can't give you a big band, Rosemary, but we can give you 5 really good musicians." Thus began the Concord years, and she began to record, and all of a sudden people began to rediscover her and to realize that she only got better as she got older. Her voice was very strong, powerful, and she had a fabulous range when she was young. And as she got older, she just sounded like one of those old, beat-up, wheezy saxophones that you just love to hear, that just hollow out those low notes and just, give you chills. And she never lost it. Her last concert that was filmed or recorded was in Hawaii. And she was better than I think I ever heard her. And so if you see me reading stuff up here, I'm just following in Rosemary's footsteps. Trying to remember what I'm doing. The next song that I'm singing, I not only love to hear her do it, but I also had the privilege on the Golden Girls of hearing B. Arthur do this. I'm a big Golden Girls fan. And she's out at this club, and of course Blanche has taken over, and she goes in, and some guy at like a piano bar says, "Can you sing?" And of course none of the men are ever interested in Dorothy, and so she says, "Yeah, I can sing." So she starts singing this song, "What'll I Do?" And of course she took all the men away from Blanche. You'll have to watch the episode. But I loved hearing her do it. Actually, the Arthur started out as a jazz singer, and her voice was so low, I just said, "No, B, you do something else." And so she went into acting. But this is also one of Rosemary's songs, "What'll I Do?" Gone is the romance that was so divine. 'Tis broken and cannot be mended. You must go your way and I must go mine. But now that our love dream has ended, what will I do?